Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Off the Books podcast. As always, I am Taylor, and joined with me today, my lovely co-host, Brandon.
I'm a B rank hunter this week because my name is B.
Well, then I want to be a C rank. Yeah, I guess a C rank hunter. No, I'll be A rank.
I was gonna say C's below B.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, but the only A rank hunter that we ran into this week died, so
yeah.
Don't know if that's something you want to look into or not.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, talking about what rank hunters we want to be. If you haven't guessed, today we are talking about the second volume in Solo Leveling. So I'm very excited for this one. This one was great.
They all are.
Yeah.
It's such a good series.
Yeah. And it's been a while since we did the first one, so this one will be good.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say this is my next 3 picks as well.
Yeah. So if you haven't read it,
volume 3, 4, and then 5 very soon.
Yeah, I texted Brandon. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is so good. Like, I'm going to read it in a day. So, and I did. It was great. But
that you did.
Let's talk the synopsis. So, Arise, once dubbed the weakest hunter of all mankind, Jin-Woo is now, well, something else entirely. Armed with his mysterious system, he's currently powerful enough to single-handedly clear dungeons that once would have proven life-threatening. He just has to ready himself to take on the demon's castle. And what better way to do so than finishing a quest? Exclusive new weapons and skills from an assassin-class job that may just be what Jin-Woo needs. But the system seems to have other plans for him.
That it does.
I really liked the evolution of Jin-Woo in this one, even more than the first book. I think he still is a little bit cocky, but it fits him and it fits his character.
See, that's the thing. I don't think he's cocky. I think he's
confident.
I think he's extremely confident with what he's gone through to get to this point, especially considering where he came from.
Oh, yeah.
But I do see how it would come across as cockiness.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is very, very overpowered. Mm-hmm. Well, for now.
Yeah. But I don't think his cockiness is a bad thing. I don't think
it's a detriment to the character.
No, I think he wears it well. Like, there are some people where you're like, oh, he's cocky, like in a bad way. And then there's other times where you're like, he's cocky.
It's like, as my father always told me, there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. Mm-hmm. And you've got to be able to walk that line.
And he skips, he hops, he jumps on that line.
Yeah, but thankfully he's not 2 states over like some people.
Yeah.
So.
Getting into it.
Shall we get in?
I'm excited.
All right. And actually, this week's notes were prepared by yours truly. We're not reading from someone else's script. This is mine. And I put a lot.
Hey, normally I always read from my own script. Thank you.
Oh, I never do.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, Jin-Woo and Jin-Ho's strike team are being observed by Sang-Ming-An and his subordinate Ki-Chul-Hyun as they tackle the C-rank dungeons in record time. Ki-Chul sees the two enter dungeons by themselves and complete it in around 30 minutes. Due to this, Sang-Ming assumes that Jin-Woo is either an A rank or possibly even an S rank hunter, because it's just very, very unusual for two people to go into a C rank dungeon, especially someone that's a D rank like Jin-Ho and an E rank like Jin-Woo,
and have everybody else sitting on the sidelines that he hired.
Just chilling.
Yeah,
just kind of chilling.
They show up, they eat their snacks, and
play
they move
cards,
on.
Take naps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an easy day.
So that night, Sang-Ming calls Jin-Woo as he is heading home and asks for a meeting at a local coffee shop. He tries to recruit Jin-Woo, which he rejects. Jin-Woo asks how many people know about him and his powers. After a little persuasion from Jin-Woo's murderous glare, Sang-Ming admits that only 2 people know about him currently. Jin-Woo uses his stealth skill to disappear from in front of him and reappear behind to prove a point and scare the living shit out of him. Mm-hmm. With this, Jin-Woo leaves the coffee shop, basically saying, "Leave me the fuck alone." And that's when Ki-chul comes in and is like, "The fuck just happened? I was watching from that place across the street."
Yeah. But I think Ki-chul is a good character, like one of the good side characters, irrelevant characters. I think they did good with that one. I especially like when they keep trying to get Jin-Woo to join their guild. Mm-hmm. Ki-chul just keeps bringing him drinks and juices, and he's just standing at his front door ready to go.
Yeah, well, both of these guys are from the White Tiger Guild, which is one of the top 5 guilds in Korea. Mm-hmm. And it's said that Sang-Ming is one of the reasons why the White Tiger is so powerful. He is the kind of the secret weapon of their second administrative team, which is the team that recruits all the people. Mm-hmm. And it's been a long time since he's actually gone into the field to personally recruit someone. Yeah,
so a lot of the higher-ups are looking closer at what he's looking at and being like, if he's going out, he's got somebody good.
Yes. So, while thinking back about his previous battle with Cerberus and his current stats, Jin-Woo decides that he needs to test himself against red-named monsters. The red name means that they are immensely stronger than him. They're a much higher level than he is. After some thought, he remembers the only other time that he had seen a monster with a red name, such as Cerberus, was the monstrous centipedes in the penalty area. He decides to forego the next day's daily training and willingly go into the penalty zone to fight the centipedes to truly test himself. After fighting through a dungeon with Jin-Ho, Jin-Woo hits level 40 and gets a quest notification for a job change. Jin-Woo tells Jin-Ho that they need to cancel the rest of their raids for the day, as he has something he needs to do. Oh, God, I apologize.
I'm like, I just keep hearing burps.
I'm so sorry. At least the new microphone's audio pickup is very good.
They're great. And I hope everybody out listening can hear the better, improved quality.
Yes, the quality of audio has been improving, I think, throughout our entire show. Mm-hmm. So, this worries Jin-Ho because his funds were starting to get low after paying the strike squad and for the dungeon permits. Jin-Woo tells him he has a plan and calls up Sang-Ming to schedule another meeting. While Jin-Ho and Jin-Woo were fighting through the dungeon, Sang-Ming is being berated by the head of the White Tiger Guild, Yoon-Ho Baek, because the guild hasn't been getting any dungeon permits to train their new members. Baek tells Sang-Ming that he doesn't care if he has to pay 100 or 200 million won to get a permit, just fucking do it. While this conversation is happening, Jin-Woo calls Sang-Ming to set up another meeting. Sang-Ming apologizes to Yoon-Ho and tells him that he has to leave for an important meeting with a possible recruit. He grabs Ki-chul and runs out the door. After Sang-Ming leaves, Yoon-Ho questions other subordinates of Sang-Ming and this mysterious new recruit, but no one seems to know anything about this person. Jin-Woo meets with the two men from the White Tiger Guild and offers them 3 dungeon permits for 300 million won each. Sang-Ming counter-offers with 200 million for each, which Jin-Woo immediately accepts. Then he leaves. Mm-hmm. Later that night, Ki-chul runs into Sang-Ming's office saying that all the permits for the dungeons the following day are available and going for their normal rate, which is normally 10 to 20 million won.
No, I thought it was still around like the 100.
No, they were crazily overpaying for these permits to make sure that they got all of them.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Like to win the bet.
Yeah, to win the auction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Sang-Ming remembers in that moment that Jin-Woo had said the other day when he had called him that he would be free on Thursday, and receives a text from him claiming that they are now even. Sang-Ming claims that this is just an investment in recruiting Jin-Woo into the guild. So he kind of pulled a fast one on him.
He did. I really like that he even texted him and was like, we're even.
Yeah, he's like, we're even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's some petty shit I would do.
Right. So Jin-Woo waits till later in the evening and goes to a less traveled area of a local park, not knowing what will happen once he accepts the job change quest. Once he accepts the quest, he witnesses a dungeon form directly in front of him, which kind of blew his mind. And, once he enters the dungeon, he ends up fighting knights in full plate armor. The armor continues to deflect the dagger, so he uses his motherfucking fists again to beat the knights into submission. I love that his plan, he's like, all right, plan A, kind of try and give him a little stabby stab. Plan B, beat the shit out of him with my fists.
And he really did it. I mean, he won. He was doing great. Especially with that dungeon, there was not any part of that part of the book where I was like, he will lose. It's because there's always that one or two battles in the books for solo leveling where you're like, this might be it for him.
I don't know, that battle with Egress.
Yeah.
When Egress was fucking him up and nearly took his head.
That is true.
Yeah. So one of the things about this dungeon that he's in is he can't access the store. Where he can get potions and stuff. He can't use potions, so all of the damage that he's taking, all the fatigue that he's that's building up is just accumulating.
Yeah, because none of the stuff that he's acquired will work, and none of the magic will work.
And even as he levels, it doesn't reset his stats. Mm-hmm. It keeps them exactly where it increases his stats, but not his HP or his mana or his fatigue.
Yeah.
So it's starting to have a toll on him. As he works his way through the dungeon, Jin-Woo fights against knights, assassins, mages, and archers. He also picks up pieces of armor that he's able to equip and acquire more resistance against physical damage. Jin-Woo continues to fight through the dungeon, leveling up, but his health and stamina do not recover as he levels. Each time he tries to lay down to rest and recover some stamina, he is attacked by monsters, forcing him to continue fighting. Jin-Woo makes it all the way to the boss's lair, where he encounters Egress the Blood Red, the Knight Commander. Jin-Woo prepares to fight Egress with his bare hands, which Egress responds by dropping his sword and daggers, and also fighting barehanded. Egress beats Jin-Woo senseless and nearly cuts off Jin-Woo's head before he finally counters and puts Egress on his heels. Jin-Woo defeats Egress by picking him up and running full speed into the wall.
When you showed me the photo of Egress, I was terrified. I would not ever
that was
be.
His shadow form as well.
But still, it's terrifying.
Yes.
To see something that big and just a huge presence that will and want to kill you.
Oh, you should see him as he grows.
He grows?
They all do.
Up?
No, not really. No.
What do you mean grow?
As he levels.
Oh, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except they don't evolve. Well, I guess they kind of do.
Yeah, because if they grow, I'm like, they can't get bigger, can they? That's scary.
Oh, one of them can, but that's not this book. That's the next one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's because of magic. It's not a leveling thing.
Just don't worry about it for this one, okay?
I'm just going to tease you a little bit.
Exactly.
So after defeating Egress, Jin-Woo was able to pick up Egress's helmet and equip it while also receiving 1.5 million gold that can be used in the store, a runestone for Ruler's Hand, and an instant teleportation stone. Once he picks up the instant teleportation stone, the true job quest begins. The system explains to him that he has to fight through this, basically last for as long as he can, and depending on the amount of time, maybe the job that they give him will be able to get bonuses put on it. Mm-hmm.
But I did hate that it was I got a chuckle when they said now the actual level, the game has started.
Right.
And he's like, I did all of that
Are
shit.
You fucking kidding me?
For right now to start and count?
Yeah.
He's like, I had to defeat a boss for this shit to count?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have been frustrated.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So, where the fuck was I? Oh, the system wishes him good luck as the room begins to fill with knights pouring out of tens of portals.
And didn't he mention that the system never is like sincere or have any emotion?
It doesn't say anything like that, and he's like, is it saying that I'm going to need luck to get through this and survive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you will, Jin-Woo.
Jin-Woo tries to fight through the knights, but is quickly overwhelmed. He tries to use the instant teleportation zone, but it is knocked out of his hands. When all seems lost, the room around him turns black, and Jin-Woo is transported into the penalty zone.
That was the only thing that saved that man.
Yes, for sure.
He definitely would have died.
For sure. He tries to use a healing potion, but it only helps him regain his fatigue due to his health being below 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So it has no effect if it's under 10% of his total health.
And his health is pretty high. It's like 10,000.
At this point, it's over 10,000, but he had 93 health points when he went into the penalty zone.
Mm-hmm.
He was like under 1%.
Mm-hmm. He was like, fuck.
So Jin-Woo fights through the penalty zone for 4 hours, killing any centipede that shows itself. Once his time is up, he is transported back to the boss's lair for the job quest. Before Jin-Woo had been transported, he had noticed mages casting magic but hadn't seen any magic being used. It clicked for him that he hadn't actually been gaining any experience when he killed the monsters and realized that they were actually being controlled by the mages. When he came back in, he made it a point to seek out the mages and slay them to take down the knights. Once only 3 mages were left, they cast group magic to transform the down knights into a giant iron golem. Jin-Woo easily defeats the golem and dispatches the mages. With the mages defeated, the job change quest came to an end. After the system processed the data it collected on Jin-Woo during the battle, and due to the amount of time that had passed during the fight, Jin-Woo was offered the job of Necromancer, which was then upgraded into Shadow Monarch.
If I was playing a video game and that was the level, right? I don't think I ever would have been smart enough to think, oh, the mages are the ones that are, controlling.
Remember what I said the first time we did this? I said about how perceptive he is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like almost superhuman perception.
Yeah. Because he had that beforehand with the
Correct.
original dungeon that we saw him in.
With the double dungeon. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he already has a lot of smarts and intelligence and able to have that video gamer thinking behind things.
Right.
But yeah, I would have just started killing everything I could and then been like, oh, that's weird that this side of the knights went down. Yeah. Like I wouldn't have never correlated it.
Well, and the thing that helped him realize that was when he first started fighting in this room against all of these knights, he had used stealth. Then gotten the notification that a mage was using some sort of magic to basically cancel that out.
Yeah.
But all of the knights stopped moving in that moment.
Mm-hmm. And originally he thought they just can't see me, and then the mage made them see him.
Right.
But
it was actually the mage stopped using the magic to control them and canceled out his stealth instead.
This book is written so well with those types of scenes. Yeah, I really liked it.
Chu Gong is such a good writer.
Yeah.
Like, he really is.
Yeah,
he really
I love
is.
it.
And I mean, like I've talked about it before, I love the manga for this, the manhwa. Mm-hmm. But there's so much more in these light novels that's not, like, talked about in that.
Yeah, because with the manhwa, it's definitely hard to see the little details that he's able to encompass in the books.
Right.
So,
as well as there's entire arcs that are not included in that.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, I was looking through the story arcs earlier tonight when I was writing this, and I was like, I don't remember reading anything about this.
Yeah.
I don't remember going through this part. I don't remember going through this part. Yes. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, and obviously there's going to be much more detail added into some of the other arcs that I have gone through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. With his new job, Jin-Woo was able to... I have capture here, but capture is not really the right word.
You mean like capture their shadows?
Right.
I think it's an okay word. He's able to harness?
Take possession?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's kind of capture.
Yeah.
He's able to, harness these shadows of these monsters and command them.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not just monsters as well. It's really any being that he defeats, because he even starts thinking, he's like, would I be able to take the shadow of like an A rank or an S rank hunter?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, think how powerful I could be with this. He's like, I literally am able to get my own army here.
But then he also thinks about the fact that, do I really want to awaken or arise human souls, basically, and human shadows? And it came down to him as like a moral compass.
Right. He's like, if they're a dick, not really.
Sure.
Like, it's fine. But if they're a good person, like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. So he tries to focus on the actual monsters and
yes.
things that he's killed. So.
Yeah. So when he leaves the job change quest with his squad of shadows, led by Egress, who is his knight.
I love Egress. After he became his soldier.
Yeah. His squad of shadows, led by Egress, consisting of 3 mages and 16 infantry knights. So he has 20 shadows when he leaves there.
I thought he had... Oh, no, you're right.
Well, he's able...
Because he gained when later in.
Well, he's able to have 30 shadows under his command at one point, but he can only store 20 of them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's what it was.
At first, he felt bad because he was like, oh, I got to send these guys, like... Because once you get rid of a shadow, they can't come back.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I kind of feel bad for you. He's like, I'll pray for them that they are able to rest in peace.
Such a sweet guy.
Like he feels bad about releasing these shadows.
Yeah. I just brought them back to use for my dead army. But, I really feel bad that I have to let them go.
I know. So, the day after the job change, Jin-Woo is awakened by a phone call from his sister, who's like, Did you forget? Like, are you still in bed? And he's like, well, what fucking time is it? She's like, it's fucking 2 PM. Because it's like 5 AM when he fucking leaves this job change quest.
Yeah.
So he gets awakened by her, and she's like, did you forget what the day is? Like, you said you would come to my parent-teacher conference today. And he's like, oh, yeah, I probably should do that. So he gets up.
Dude, he bought himself a nice-ass suit.
Because the only one that he had was from his high school graduation.
Yeah.
But he also didn't realize how much money he had either.
And how much muscle that man earned.
He had nearly 1.5 billion won in his bank account from all the essence stones that Jin-Ho had sold.
Yeah. It's insane.
So he goes out, buys himself a new suit, gets himself a nice spiffy old haircut.
He's so spiffy.
To the point that he looks so much different when he shows up that his sister's like, are you really Jin-Woo Song?
You're not the slob I remember.
Are you actually my brother? And he just kind of grabs her cheeks and starts pinching them, and he's like, stop being an idiot.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so B showed me a photo of Jin-Woo for this scene. Guys, if this man was real, there is no exception of how quickly I would run to him. It's like, what would you do for a Klondike bar?
What would you do for Jin-Woo Song?
Everything, man. I would do everything.
You're like, I would murder a family for an opportunity with Jin-Woo Song.
Oh, I would. I'd bring him juice every day. I would get him dungeons. I'd say, yes, boss. I'd become Jin-Ho.
But you would just be Ho.
Exactly. You got to separate it, the words a little bit. Jin Ho.
Oh my god. Okay.
Guys, I promise you, for the ladies, look him up. For the men, look him up.
Taylor's just over here right now, just sploosh.
You just got, if any of our listeners are male and want to impress me, come to my house looking like Jin-Woo from Parent Teacher Conference. Promise you, you can take me out to dinner. Any day.
You're like, I'll even be dinner.
The meal is served.
You're just laying on the table. Come and get it, big boy.
With the one napkin.
Oh my god. Anyway. So Gina takes Jin-Woo to where the parent-teacher conference is having. As they're walking through the halls, there's a bunch of teachers that are like, is he a new teacher? Is that an alumni? I would remember if someone like that went here.
Yeah.
And of course, all the girls are like, hey, who the fuck is that?
They're like, oh, and he's
Is he
walking.
is he with Gina? Is that her older brother?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Sploosh.
I need to be her friend.
Because he did get, like, before he changed, he wasn't necessarily fat, but he wasn't in, like, the best shape.
I mean, he was a small, skinny dude.
Yeah.
He looked more like a teenager than an adult.
Exactly.
That was in his, early to mid 20s.
Yeah, he didn't have anything going for him.
No.
And then he turned into Jin-Woo.
Then he turned into a player.
Then he turned into a goddamn baller.
I was just referring to he was a player within the system now, but yeah.
Oh. Same thing.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So her teacher was happy with Gina's progress, which she stated that she's got some of the top grades in the school. Obviously, Jin-Woo's aware that she wants to go to medical school because of what's going on with her mother. She wants to become a doctor.
Yeah.
But at the very end, she asks him a very important question. If Gina were to awaken, would you let her become a hunter?
No, bitch.
Without even thinking, Jin-Woo immediately answers no.
Yeah.
He goes, absolutely not.
Because he knows how dangerous it can be.
Yes.
And
he would never want his sister to be in situations like that.
No. And even if she did awaken an S-rank hunter, you can still die.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's not worth it.
They mention how there's 10 S-rank hunters in Korea.
Yeah.
Barely 10 S-rank hunters.
And they're all like famous. They're the celebrities.
Well, at one point there was 10 S-rank hunters in Korea. One defected to the United States. That was Dong-suk Hwang. The other one was an S-rank hunter that was killed on Jeju Island in a raid of basically nothing but other S-rank hunters.
I know who you're talking about.
You don't, because I don't even know what his name is.
Then I don't know what you're talking about.
You thought I was talking about the one I showed you earlier. No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Because he be looking fine as well. I don't think we're on the same page.
I don't think we are either. Who do you think I'm talking about right now? Oh, no.
Because he was good looking too.
No, remember I told you there was no rankings back then.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he was good looking too.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. No, this was 2 years prior to the story, I believe.
Okay. Then, yeah. Then I have no clue.
I don't think they even have a name listed for this person.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That makes sense.
And that person was eaten alive by ants.
Oh.
Anyways.
Okay.
Jin-Woo immediately answers no to the teacher's relief. She tells him how there is another female student who has recently awakened and has stopped coming to school. She asks if he would speak to her, He is initially hesitant about doing this until he hears her name and realizes, wow, Korea really is a small country because it's the girl that's in his strike squad.
Yeah.
So he's
that doesn't do anything. She just sits there.
He's like, well, I kind of feel a little responsible for this because we started the strike squad, and with all the money she's making, she's like, oh, this is going to be easy. Especially considering she's an E-rank hunter as well.
And she has to do nothing. She doesn't even have to touch the dungeon.
Correct. So Jin-Woo agrees to meet up with Song Yi-han, which is this girl. So in an attempt to expose Song-hee to the realities of what a dungeon is like, Jin-Woo once again reaches out to Sang-ming and asks if the two can observe the White Tiger's new recruits handling a dungeon. Once they arrive at the dungeon, they are met by Kichol.
Yeah.
Who is like, oh, you know, Director Sang-ming told me everything about, like, you guys coming today and whatnot. We're happy to have you guys here. They meet the other recruits, including Kim Chol, who is an A-rank hunter, and Haejin Park, who is a B-rank hunter. So once they start to enter the gate, Jin-Woo, who is the last to enter, realizes that something is very wrong. As a person enters, the gate will ripple a little bit, but it's supposed to be very calm and smooth on the surface.
Yeah.
This continues to fluctuate well after people have gone through, and as he touches it, it sticks to him.
Yeah.
And kind of starts pulling him in. He immediately looks back to Kichol, who is also realizing that something is going wrong, and Jin-Woo yells at him to call their best, like their top strike squad right now.
Yeah.
As he's then sucked into the gate. Kichol and the other administrators stand there and watch the gate turn red and go solid. And turn into a red gate. A red gate normally only happens with gates that are S, A, or B rank. This was measured as a C rank gate, and the Hunters organization in Korea got it wrong with their manometer, which was on the fritz.
Yeah, I was about to say, because like a couple chapters earlier, they were talking about, hey, is this one working right?
It was the same chapter.
It was the same chapter?
These are long chapters.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, so it gave you foretelling and
a little foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
There we go.
I always forget that word. I don't know why.
It's okay. I saw a TikTok today of two dudes, I guess, doing a podcast or something, trying to figure out words.
It's the hardest thing to do.
Oh, it was. You and I have gone through it before. This was so much worse. They started on one, and they ended up so far down a different rabbit hole. It was ridiculous.
That makes me feel so much better.
I should have sent it to you and been like, oh my God, this is what we could have been at times.
Oh, we were. Like talking over to each other, put it on the board, this, that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, we haven't put anything on the board in a while.
We haven't.
I know.
I've been proud of us.
I know. We probably just haven't thought about putting it on the board when we've been thinking about things recently.
That is true. I think we mess up, but it's not that bad. So we just kind of let it go.
Yeah. I don't even remember what all is on the board at this point.
Me either. We needed to write it down. We needed to get an actual board.
I know. Either that or I'm just going to start writing on the walls.
I think Dad would be a little bit mad.
Possibly. Well, this is glass. We could put dry erase on here. He comes down, there's just words
like written in white,
horribly misspelled and wrong words. What the fuck is all over this table? It's art.
It's art, Dad. Scott, it's art. Let it be.
Oh God. So how the fuck am I here? After Jin-Woo is sucked into the gate, it solidifies and turns red. Inside the gate, the strike force finds themselves in a snow-covered land with a large forest. While the group is trying to get their bearings on this new landscape, Jin-Woo grabs an arrow out of the air that had been aimed right at Song-yi. At the same time, an arrow hits a C-rank hunter on the other side of the group. Jin-Woo and Kim Chol are able to figure out where the arrows came from and see ice elves, or ice slayers, smiling maniacally at the group.
When this turns into like an anime, which it is soon.
Next year.
That's going to be such a good scene.
It probably won't even be until season 2.
I know, but it's going to be such a good scene.
This whole arc is going to be so good.
Yeah. Because I want them to get the facial expressions right for these enemies and the protagonists. And I hope they do well. It looks like they're going to. I just have a high expectation for this show.
Well, with Studio A1 doing it, it's going to be high quality. Studio A1 has done some top-notch work here recently.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty sure they've done work on Overlord.
That would make sense.
Maybe not. Maybe they haven't.
I mean, Studio A, I mean, they have a good name. They're one... Everybody who watches anime know them, you know? So it's like...
They're one of the more famous studios.
Yeah. So hopefully they do well. They match the excitement and the hype.
Well, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do it. If they stick to the original adaptation, or if they go with the Japanese adaptation.
Oh.
Because in the in the original adaptation, there's a few times where Japan does not look that great.
Yeah.
But in the Japanese adaptation that was only released in Japan, the main character is Japanese.
Yeah. And isn't Studio A Japanese?
They're a Japanese company.
Yeah, I was about to say. So they have to be careful with that.
Yeah. A lot of people are very interested to see how they are going to do this show.
Hopefully they, no matter how they do it, Korean or Japan, whatever they decide, I hope it's good. I hope it stays to the original theme without bashing one another. You know what I mean?
They should definitely do the Korean adaptation.
I would hope.
Keep it true to the original.
You would hope.
Yeah. Yeah, you really would.
Yeah.
I keep losing where I'm at on this.
I just see your eyes scanning.
Yeah. Okay. So Jin-Woo and Kim Chol are able to figure out where the arrows came from and see the ice elves or ice slayers smiling maniacally at the group. Jin-Woo holds up the arrow that he caught and snaps it, causing one of the ice slayers to pull their thumb across their neck like they're going to slit his throat. Which Jin-Woo
like smiles back.
He gets kind of pissed about this, and he's like, a fucking monster is going to taunt a hunter. He's like, I'll kill you with my bare fucking hands. So
Jin-Woo did so good in this scene. I mean, he does great in the books, but just the way he thinks things through, like the forest coming up that you're about to talk about. It's just very thought out and very quickly.
Yes.
Which I wish I could do.
Yeah. So Jin-Woo is able to figure out that these ice slayers targeted the two weakest people in their group.
The E ranks.
Almost like they targeted Song Yi, who's an E rank, but the other man that they hit was a man in his mid-30s that had just recently awakened as a C rank, and he was probably the weakest of the C ranks. So I guess I should say in this group, there's one A rank hunter, there's 7 B rank hunters, and 4 C rank hunters. And then there's Jin-Woo and Song Yi. So there's 14 in total, now 13. So Kim Chol takes charge of the situation after this, basically breaking the group into 2 different groups. He claims that he's only taking the strongest members with him because the lower ranks will slow him down in clearing the dungeon. He basically says, you guys are with me, not you, or you.
It's like a dodgeball team.
Yeah. He says that the Jin-Woo, Song Yi, and the 3 C rank hunters are not coming with him because they'll just be dead weight.
Yeah.
Because in a red gate, time travels differently.
One day there is
1 hour outside the gate.
Yeah.
So the only way to get out is to either defeat the dungeon and kill the boss, or wait for a dungeon break.
Yeah, which could take months.
Yes, which could take months.
Yeah.
So,
as I said,
Jin asks to join Jin-Woo's group instead of Kim's, which he's like, I don't really give a shit what you do. So he's like, all right, I'll take one more with you. So one of the C ranks ends up going with him. Kim and his followers head towards the snow-covered plains, while Jin-Woo says that they are going to head for the tree line. After Jin-Woo and his group leave, Kim looks at the rest of his group and he's like, those fuckers are dead.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you mean? And he's like, see all those like claw marks in those trees? That's ice bear territory over there. It's like, those are basically polar bears, which are some of the most dangerous fucking predators on Earth.
Yeah.
He's like, they're going to get fucking killed.
Before they even step a foot in. Yeah.
So Jin realizes that they are now in ice bear territory and looks at Jin-Woo and says, what the hell are you thinking? Bringing us in here.
And this is where Jin-Woo has one of the smartest lines he's ever fucking said.
Yeah. He's like, do you see how many trees around here have claw marks on it? There's a lot of ice bears in here. It's not just one or two. Because of all of this, we know that there's pretty much only ice bears in this area. So we know that's all we have to fight.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to worry about, what is out there. We know what's coming.
Yeah. And he even mentioned the ice slayers are wearing,
their clothes are made of ice bear skin and fur.
Yeah. So he's like, they are obviously stronger than the ice bears. And if only ice bears are here, we don't have to worry about them.
Right.
And if we follow the same path, you don't know what's out there. There could be different kinds of monsters.
Correct.
At all different looks and ways.
So as they continue walking, they run into an ice bear. Jin steps in front of the group and is like, I'll protect all of you.
So silly of her.
She's like, I'll give you guys a chance to run, but before she can get it out, she's like pushed backwards, and Jin-Woo steps in front and he goes, I'll be the one doing the fighting. They're like, what the hell is up with this dude? Like, why? He's an E rank. What the fuck is he gonna do?
Yeah.
The ice bear tries to attack him. Jin-Woo fucking disappears, fucking ends up above him, and then just once again reverts to plan B. Use that motherfucking fist. And then shatters the ice bear's skull. And they're all like, what are you?
And then directly after that, the B rank hunter.
Jin.
Yeah, Jin. She was like, I'm cold. And he just goes, well, fuck, let me use my money, goddammit, to buy you all
he's like, why,
coats.
Why is your face so red? And she's like, because I'm cold. So he goes in the store, gets 5 sets of coats, 5 sets of boots. And he's like, I'm just going to say this now. Don't ask me questions and do not make demands of me.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only rules that I have. Don't ask questions. Don't make demands.
Yeah.
So, I think that another ice bear shows up. He beats the shit out of that one. And they're like, dude, what the fuck are you? And he's like, I just said, don't ask questions.
You dumb bitches. You can't even follow one simple rule.
So in the next scene, we see Kim Chol, who has been thrown to the ground. All of the people that are with him are being slaughtered. At this point, they've been in here for a few days. They've been in probably 4 or 5 days at this point. Fantasy football, I swear to God. My phone is going ballistic right now. I probably shouldn't even put it there. Hold on. Let me drop this on the floor. There we go. People in my fantasy football league are trying to make fucking trades, and I'm just like sitting here like, I'm trying to record a fucking podcast, thank you.
Speaking of making like fantasy football, I do want to bring this up. This is off the books, but I feel like this is relevant. So I never really care or watch like every episode of The Voice. Like, this is The Voice.
I'm aware what the show is.
For the people that aren't. You can get the app and make your own team. I made my own fucking team. I have 4 singers right now. Fucking phenomenal.
Are they all doing well?
I mean, it's the second day of auditions, so they're doing great. They got on a team.
Well, you should have waited though until auditions were done. You could have gotten better singers.
No, you can switch them out.
Oh,
that's what's so cool. I'm so sorry that was off topic, but I'm so excited because I've never cared about that show to actually sit down and watch it to that extent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can make my own team. I have fantastic singers. I'm so excited. I'll give weekly updates.
Okay. Sounds
I have 41,000 points right now because of them.
That's good.
Fantastic.
So
and I digress.
So Kim Chol's entire team, essentially, his squad, is slaughtered by the Ice Slayers. Kim Chol takes off into the woods and just runs and runs and runs and runs.
As fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
Fucking crackhead.
So sorry.
So Jin-Woo, while this had been going on, had decided it was time to stop being defensive with these ice bears and time to go on the offensive.
Yeah.
So he figures out where they live and he's like, all right, it's time to commit a little bit of genocide here.
He goes out when everybody's at camp, like trying to sleep. He's like, don't worry, guys. I'm going to be back.
I got this.
But then he uses his shadows.
He uses his shadows and he's starting to realize that they can level up.
Yeah. Because it even says next to their rank, level 1, level 2, whatever.
Yes. So he fights these bears and takes some of their shadows, including the leader of this group, which he called a Bruin neighborhood. Little bear neighborhood.
Little bear neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a bunch of caves in a
kind of like a like a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jin-Woo is able to take the shadows of a couple of these bears, including their leader, which was a massive, massive ice bear.
He was a massive guy.
Yeah, that he nicknames Tank.
I feel like that's only fair.
So, while he's out fighting off more ice bears, Kim Chol stumbles upon the camp that Jin-Woo's group has set up, and they're sitting there. They've got a tent. They've got
fire.
They've got
snacks.
Fire. They've got bread, salt and pepper. They're eating ice bear meat.
Yeah. And mind you, his whole team died.
Right.
And he's like, these guys are eating and I've been starving?
We've been starving. We would have been fine against these people if we wouldn't have been starving and all this kind of shit. And he starts getting pissed. Yeah. And he's like, tell me which one of you hid these fucking supplies that were meant for all of us, and I'll let the rest of you go. Pulls out a sword, and he's like, I'm going to give you to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and then from behind he hears 4, and then gets fucking knocked the fuck out.
I just love that scene so much. Because when I was reading it, it didn't make sense, because I was reading kind of quickly. So I read, I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm like, he does not know how to count to 3. And then I reread it, and I'm like, ha, good job, Jin-Woo.
Said 4.
Yeah, good Jin. Good job.
Good job, Jin-Woo.
Good job, Jin-Woo. You got it, man.
On 4, Jin-Woo smacked him so hard that he went flying across the area, unconscious.
Yep.
Unconscious. Everyone else looked back at Jin-Woo, whose hand had steam coming off of it. He had hit this man so fucking hard.
I mean, if you're going to hit somebody, hit them like Jin-Woo.
And they're all just like, Jin-Woo. Well, Song Yi's like, Jin-Woo. And the other 3 are like, Captain. Because they had gotten to a point of calling him Captain. Mm-hmm. So Jin-Woo's like, that dumb son of a bitch. And they're like, what? It's like, well, he brought uninvited guests with him.
Yeah.
They all look over, and there's all the fucking ice slayers.
Yep.
And one of them is riding a horse.
Oh.
No, ice horsey.
Like little ice horsey.
Yeah.
Ridey pony.
So their leader, Barca.
I cracked myself up.
I'm just ignoring it.
I figured. I'm like, I cracked myself up.
So their leader, Barca, starts speaking and says, there is treasure among the human trash. And Jin-Woo's like,
thank you.
I can understand you. And Barca's like, you speak our language? And everyone else is like, you speak their language?
He's like, I guess so.
He's like, I don't know.
And back to it. Blah, 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 blah.
So he has this conversation with Barco. He's like, if you just hand over those humans over there, like, I'll let you live. He's like, we've got this thing in our mind that's constantly telling us to kill humans. Mm-hmm. But I don't hear that when you're in front of me. You must be something different. And he's like, the fuck you mean by that?
Yeah.
Starts asking him questions like, where are you from? Why are you doing this? Mm-hmm. Which Barca opens his mouth to answer and then kind of glitches.
Yeah.
And just repeats everything that he had just said again. And Jin-Woo's like, well, that's fucking weird. When
I read that part, I thought of like the NPCs, non-player character. Mm-hmm. I was like, I wonder if that's what's going on.
Jin-Woo even said, he's like, it's almost like when you ask an NPC a question that they can't answer.
Yeah.
So Jin-Woo's like, well, we're going to fucking fight. And Barca's like, well, I have one here that wants to challenge you to a Before he could get out the rest of duel, that dude is dead because Jin-Woo had just thrown a dagger
just
right
down the center.
Right into his forehead.
Yep.
And then uses ruler hand to bring it back.
Yeah. He's basically Thor, people. He can bring his hammer back.
Yeah, except it's a knife.
Or anything.
With a serrated edge.
Because remember, he also was going to the parent-teacher conference, and he's like, I wonder if I can use it on the key over there by the counter.
It's got to be something that can fit in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, well, I think he can use it on bigger stuff once he, levels it up.
I wonder if he can use it on people.
I don't know. Maybe a baby.
Be a nice thing to use. He would literally use the Force.
Just freak people out and just pull their baby from across the street.
Right? We're demented.
Yes.
That's why I love us. What would you do with that power? Be like Thor and have a hammer? No, I'd pull babies from their mothers.
Across the street.
Even better if they were traffic. Unborn. Just right.
The Off the Books podcast in no way represents or encourages the comments that Taylor Kaufman just had.
How crazy would it be if just...
I think his class would be a little different than Shadow Monarch at that point. Yeah. I think that class is called Abortion Doctor.
No, I'm not saying abortion. I'm saying like an almost ready to give birth mother.
You just said unborn.
Yeah, because it's still in the babe. It's in the belly.
In the baby?
It's in the belly of the baby.
It's in the baby.
It's in
the rapper.
The baby.
It's all in the baby, the rapper.
Ice baby.
That's Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Once again, the comments just expressed by Brandon Humrick and Taylor Kaufman are no how represented by the Off the Books podcast.
It sounded so official. Oh my God.
I'm going to be so disappointed when I listen back to this part of this
episode. I know, right? I'm so sorry, my future self.
So Jin-Woo kills this one, which was the one that was taunting him earlier. Mm-hmm. He said he was going to kill him with his bare hands, but really he just threw a knife at him.
Yeah.
Not really your bare hands, bruh. Anyway.
He still killed him.
Barca's like, well, I don't know how you're going to fight us because you're seriously outmanned and outgunned here. And he's like, oh, we're outmanned? Arise. And all of his minions come up, and the people that are with him piss themselves.
Yep.
Because they're like, what the fuck is going on?
What the fuck is that?
And then a big-ass battle breaks out.
Yeah.
And the two C ranks are like, should we help him? And they're like, hey, Jin's like, absolutely not.
I think he's got this one.
Absolutely not. So, before Jin-Woo had jumped into this battle, Kim Chol's sword was actually laying on the ground at his feet, so he kicked it over to Kim Chol. Just kicked it over near where his unconscious body was. Mm-hmm. Kind of some planning.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, Kim Chol's a dick. It's going to be fine.
This is going to be great.
So they start fighting, and all of Jin-Woo's mages drop fireballs on these fucking things all at one time, which wakes up Kim Chol.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, they're fighting.
That's what woke him up?
Yeah. They're like, oh, he's fighting the Ice Slayers. Well, fuck him. I'm going to fight him instead of the monsters.
I just found that scene so ridiculous.
So, Jin-Woo and Igris are both fighting Barca, kind of in tandem.
Yeah. Taking turns.
Yeah. And Kim Chol is just like, son of a bitch, and charges into battle.
Fuck you.
To try and kill Jin-Woo. And Jin-Woo's like, now, Igris, now. And Igris is just like, all right, gonna go ahead and stab you real quick.
Just gonna turn my attention away from the Ice Slayer and go over here.
So he kills Kim Chol. And then basically is just like, hey, Igris, fight Barca for a minute. And then just looks at Kim Chol and he's like, yeah, I've been fucking waiting for this. Arise.
My shadow prince.
Now has Kim Chol's shadow, which is like 3 times the size of what Kim Chol was in real life. Mm-hmm. And Kim Chol's a big dude, but this is a big fucking shadow.
Yeah. And then decides
with a shield and a fucking warhammer.
Yeah. And then names him Iron.
And I want to say, I think they said that Chol in English is iron.
Yeah, that's why they named him.
So that's why he named him Iron. So technically his name is Kim Iron.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So now he has Iron. Iron uses an aggro skill to have everyone attack him. And then Iron, Igris, and Jin-Woo all start fighting Barca. And they finally are able to kill him by basically them all fucking him up. And then Iron just starts smashing his face in with a warhammer. To the point that Jin-Woo has to be like, yo, fucking, he's dead.
He's gone,
Stop.
man.
Stop.
I do love that every time, though, that they die, like that somebody dies. Eagle and...
Igris?
Igris. Oh, my God. Eagle.
Eagle.
Put it on the board. Igris and Iron come over with their heads.
Yeah.
The person's head. I just find that so cute.
Yeah.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah. Iron doesn't do it for a while until they're in the Demon Tower.
Yeah.
And then he does it with, like, one of the biggest monsters that they face.
Mm-hmm.
And Jin-Woo looks at Igris and is like, are you seeing what you're teaching him?
Yeah.
Stop.
He literally is dad. And then Iron just comes over like, aren't you proud? And he's like, no.
Iron is an idiot, and I love him for it.
He is brain dead, I swear.
He's hilarious.
He's stupid as shit.
Like, he is just so naively cute.
He reminds me a lot of people I went to high school with. And not the cute part, just dumb as a fucking box of rocks.
that because we grew up in a farming town, a
Yep.
farming community?
And I'm not saying farming people are not smart.
No, I'm just saying that some of the people that we went to school with that thought they were farmers were not smart.
No. And the best part about that weren't even farmers.
No, they just thought they were.
Yeah, because they wore steel-toed boots and
Overalls.
yeah.
And drive jacked up trucks.
Yeah. Like, baby, you ain't a farmer. You just didn't have money.
Yeah, you're just a redneck. Then you had the yokels up on the mountain. Sorry, I digress. So Yoon-ho Baek had showed up to the Red Gate while everyone was inside. Jin-Woo tried to get Barca's shadow under his command, but unfortunately failed.
Yeah.
It would not arise for him.
And he did think that had to do with the fact that maybe he wasn't high enough level for it to happen.
Correct.
Yeah.
But he did get like his daggers and things like that.
Yeah. And they were in the Red Gate for like 6 days at this time.
7. They went in at 9 p.m. and it was 6 a.m. So they were in there for like 10.
Wow.
Yeah. 9. They were in there for 9 days.
Yeah. But 9 hours outside the gate.
Correct. So Yoon-ho Baek had shown up while they were in there. Mm-hmm. And he was pretty much like, don't expect any of the lower ranked hunters to come back. You might get an A and maybe a few B ranks out of here alive.
But he said consider the C ranks and the E ranks gone.
Consider them dead.
Yeah.
And then the gate opens up and 1 B rank, 2 C ranks, and Jin-Woo and Sung-gi walk out. Of the 12 hunters that the White Tiger Guild sent in, 3 of them survived. Mm-hmm. Technically, I guess you could say 4 survived because of iron, but he is the shadow of a dead man.
That is true. It definitely makes you want to say, like, you wish you could go into the book and be like, to the other team, like, that went their own way, away from Jin-Woo, like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Right.
Like, come on now, just get on his team, play fair, play nice.
Yeah.
You'll all make it out alive.
So, Jin-Woo was like, come on, Sung-gi, we're getting out of here. And Yoon-ho Baek grabs him. And Jin-Woo smacks his hand away. Yoon-ho Baek is one of the 8 S-rank hunters in South Korea and is considered one of the strongest.
Yeah, Jin-Woo is a sassy little bitch.
He's also really pissed off right now because he didn't get Barca.
Yeah.
God damn, I am sorry.
Yeah, I just keep hearing it in my ears.
I'm sure. I'll hear it later when I listen to it.
Yeah, it's great.
So, that just shows how clear our audio is.
It really does.
So, Jin-Woo was like, should you really be questioning me right now instead of thanking me for at least saving some of your people? Mm-hmm. And Yoon-ho was like, you know what, I should be. And bows to him and he's like, I am sorry, thank you for saving my people. And after he leaves, he basically looks at the people who came out and was like, what the fuck is his problem?
Yeah.
But then he also thinks, he's like, there was a strength in him. He was like, I would have to be resigned to lose at least an arm, if not more, in a fight with him.
Yeah.
And he looks at Sang Ming and says, do everything you can to recruit him to this guild.
Yeah. Because I forget if that guy knows if he's technically still classified as an E rank hunter.
Who? Yoon-ho?
The S rank.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Yes, he does. Because when Yoon-ho shows up, Sang Ming is there, as well as the first administrative team's director is also there, the person that personally trained Kim Chol.
Yeah.
And Sang Ming says there's a chance that these people could survive. There was 2 that went in with them. And Yoon-ho's like, is it possible that an S-rank hunter went in with them? He's like, no, I know all of the S-rank hunters in Korea. There's no way it was one of them. And he's like, this is the guy that I've been personally trying to recruit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, what kind of gem have you found for us this time? And Sangmeng goes, he's an E rank. And he goes,
they had bets on him. They were like, if my A rank and B rank hunters are gonna come out, and your little E rank hunter that you think needs to get reevaluated is just gonna die. They had bets, and then once Jin-Woo comes out, he's like, fuck yeah. That's my boy.
He's like, this is why I've been recruiting him.
Yeah.
So, after all this goes on, I gotta remember where the next place was. So, Jin-Woo goes home, but the hunters that came out with him are being debriefed by the White Tiger Guild, especially Heijin. Heijin Park. She tells them everything that happened, and Yoon-ho and Sang-Ming are basically like, this dude essentially single-handedly cleared this fucking dungeon.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
And it was like the next day, Jin-Woo gets picked up by Jin-ho to do another clearing of dungeons, C-rank dungeons. And he even said, we're going to pick up Sung-hee. And Jin-ho, poor guy, he's like, somebody else has the same kind of relationship that I have with Boss.
Well, he thought it was romantical.
Yeah.
He goes, like, should I call her ma'am? And he's like, what? No, she's a friend of my sister's.
Yeah. He's like, oh, a high school student.
And he's like, I should have known that Jin-Woo wouldn't follow the laws of man.
Yeah. Poor guy. I mean, Jin-ho.
He's so fucking deluded. I love him.
I mean, he's so innocent. He's so sweet. And I would love to have a friend like Jin-ho. I would love that. He's so just... He's perfect, man. But it was just so cool because, like, after that, I think it was before the Demon's Castle is when, was it Don-suk? He tried to get all, like, the media release. So...
No, that was a different person.
That was different?
Yes, that was the... So we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
So... While they are debriefing from this, this is when Yoon-ho Beck is like, Sang-Ming, I'd like to get Jin-Woo's contact information from you because I would like to reach out to him and apologize for yesterday and thank him for what he did.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, I'll give that to you. And Sang-Ming feels this overbearing presence from the other side of him and looks over and they're like, Hunter Park, why do you have your phone out? She's like, oh, no reason.
I wanted to thank him myself.
Whatsoever. She has got the biggest crush on him now.
Yeah, from being in the dungeon with him.
Right.
Bless her heart. I mean, she really tried.
Yes. So
commit that number to memory.
So the person that you are thinking of is Jong-in Choi.
Yes.
He is the head of the Hunters Guild, which is the number one guild in the country.
Yeah.
So in the first book, when that dude was like, why are we happy that Jin-ho is here? Is he like the best hunter or something like that? And they're like, no.
No, he sucks.
Jo-in Choi, that is like one of his aliases.
Yeah.
Is the ultimate soldier. That is his nickname.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
So he is the head of the Hunters Guild, and he's like, the White Tiger has been getting pretty close to us here recently. So I've got my contact at the Hunters Association gave us this information. We're going to leak it to the media and see what happens with it. Because apparently there's something they don't want people knowing about with this person that helped them.
Yeah.
So he's the one that leaks it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the United States, there is a dungeon going on You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm lost.
Like 3 times. I came up to the mic because it has the like felt cover over it, and I just went with my lips, and it was just weird. It was like my brain just said, "Do it," you know?
Just intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, it did say to bite it, but I didn't do that yet.
Anyway,
Just a little apple, just.
Don't bite the foam, Taylor. Don't bite the microphone. Oh, God. So while all of this is going on in the United States, an A-rank dungeon appears, and they send in a strike squad that would be able to take out an A-rank dungeon normally.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this poor bastard named James is the only one left conscious of this strike squad. They go into this dungeon, they find no monsters through the entire dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, the boss's lair is a ways from the entrance. And there was one thing in there. And it's a dude with long hair and a scraggly beard, and he's like, I don't know why you guys attacked me. I told you I was human.
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to go home. He's like, I am Korean. I want to go home. And then James pisses himself and passes out. So how did they call it? The Hunters Command Center in the United States, was essentially their version of the Hunters Association, calls in Dong-suk Hwang, whose brother was killed by Jin-Woo.
In the first book,
In the first book. He was one of the lizards. They call him in to basically be a translator for this. And he's going through his files, and he's like, so you say your name is Il-won Sung. And he's like, yep, that's right. And he's like, so why were you in a dungeon in the United States? And he was like, I got trapped in a dungeon 10 years ago in Korea, and then I just woke up here. And he talks about this war that's coming, and about how he's the only one that can stop the biggest threat in this war.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why wouldn't you want help with it? And he's like, because you guys, you have no idea what's coming for you. There's a reason why I'm able to do this.
Yeah.
And Dong-suk is like, going through his file. He's like, all right, so you say you're Il-won Song, and this is your wife, and your son is, and pauses, and he realizes it's Jin-Woo Song. And he starts to go on, and he's like, and your daughter is, and Il-won's like, it's Gina Song. He's like, why did I feel murderous intent when you said my son's name? And now the one with murderous intent is Il-won.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like...
And I'm sorry, but Jin-Woo's father is slice of something good.
Dong-suk basically tells him, I'm going to Korea soon. What would you like me to tell your son was your last words before I give him his?
Yeah.
And Il-won proceeds to pull the building down on top of him, on top of Dong-suk, and put Dong-suk in the hospital.
Yeah.
And the last thing he says to him is, if you ever come to Korea, I will fucking kill you.
And that's why we love this song, Family. They are
ruthless.
They are vicious. They are petty as shit. And they take they take care of each other, which is all about family.
Yeah.
You know, that's what family is about.
So, Jin-Woo and Jin-Ho finish up the raids that they were doing. Jin-Ho's getting ready to go take his Guildmaster's test the next day. Mm-hmm. So they go out for dinner, just the two of them. And Jin-Woo tells Jin-Ho, I'm not going to be available for the next few days. You're not going to be able to contact me. And he's like, Jin-Ho's like, boss, if I have annoyed you, I'm so sorry. Like, I will try and do better. I will never do this again. And he was like, Jin-Ho, what do you think of me? And he was like, well, you know I don't have a good relationship with my older brother. He's like, I've spent more time alone with you than I have with my own brother. He's like, so you're like a brother, like an older brother to me. And he's like, well, if you think of me as an older brother, then I think of you as a brother too.
Dude, that part almost had me crying.
And then Jin-Ho starts crying, and he's like, boss, can I hug you? And he's like, abso-fucking-lutely not.
No way. But that scene was so sweet. Because I think Jin-Ho needed validation with the friendship that they had. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just a boss and employee. It wasn't just a, it wasn't like Jumanji where it was The Rock and Kevin Hart, they actually do have friendship behind it. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah,
I love them. I love Jin-Ho.
Yeah, so that happens. Jin-Ho gets really fucking drunk. Jin-Woo gets him all sobered up and gets him to go home.
Yeah.
And then Jin-Woo decides, he tells Gina he's going to be gone for 7 days, or for a week. Mm-hmm. Not sure if it was 5 or 7, and decides it's time to go back into the demon castle.
Yeah.
Gets into the demon castle and immediately gets a quest for, was it 10,000 demon souls?
Yep, 10,000 demon souls. And he got like 20% or shit. I'm blanking on it. He got a good amount of stuff with it. But I'm blanking on what it was. He gets experience with every demon he kills. Mm-hmm. Which levels him up. But it was shit. It's almost there. Oh, he gets one choice of any item, ability points plus 20, and then a mystery reward.
Yes.
After he clears the 10,000 demon souls. And he starts thinking with this, maybe I can get my shadow army to help with this and reach my goal.
Yeah.
So he gets through, and he even thought about it as this subway dungeon that he did in the first book, where there's levels to it, different stories.
Yeah, he's like, is there 100 levels in this like there is in the actual tower?
Yeah.
Where this is based?
Yeah, so he continues up levels, and he's defeating the boss. He's defeating all of these different demons, because only each demon gives him 100.
It varies.
Yeah. Or like he gets one demon soul, but then there's also some demons that have 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. So the higher level he goes up, the more souls each demon might have.
Right.
So he gets up to, I think it was 27 when he...
In 2 days.
Yeah, 27 in 2 days. It was fantastic. I mean, he was really kicking ass.
He ends up working all the way through the 74th floor, the 70th floor.
Yeah.
But it starts getting too hot for him, so he ends there.
Yeah.
And that's where our book ends.
Well, actually, I like where it ends because he gets to say one more thing before okay, so he ends at floor 76. Mm-hmm. And then ends with it asking what item would he like, and then the system asked him again, like they were rushing him, and so he said instead of a blessed mystery box, he chose the cursed mystery box.
Yeah, it gets the thing that he
needs not once,
which gives him the recipe for...
It doesn't say anything about that. It just says a cursed mystery box, in quotations, end book.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
So I was like, I gotta stop you in case somebody else is reading this as well, because I don't know what he got yet.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well, things that he picked up along the way are going to make sense once he opens that box.
That makes sense.
Yes. So, but that is Solo Leveling Volume 2. Volume 3 will be coming at you in 2 weeks.
This book was easily a 5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah.
And you know I don't give those lightly.
Yeah, I love this series.
Yeah,
so
this
much.
is great.
So much. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so well written. I mean, see, does the light novel have illustrations within it? Because
No.
you were reading it physically?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the illustration for the manga is so fucking good.
It was. After what you had showed me, it makes me want to go watch the manhwa. Read the manhwa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, that is all for this week. Miss Taylor, do you have any shout-outs?
I'm going to go with, I guess Deanna and Kelly this week. Both of them. I always shout them out, but, they always show me love, and they show this podcast love, so shout out to both of them, so.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
My shout-out this week will go, because I'm wearing this shirt, is going to go to my softball team. Walks are for pitches. Even though I've walked twice this season.
Yeah. I was about to say, you look like a walker in baseball, softball, whatever.
No, I've had many more base hits so far this season than I have had walks.
Nice.
Yeah. I think I'm like 9 for 12 on the season, something like that.
Nice.
Anyways. Does not mean I'm good, people. Do not assume that. Most of those are singles. So, follow us on Instagram at Off the Books Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at Off the Books Podcast. Taylor's been putting up a lot of content on our TikTok page, so go check it out.
I'm excited.
She has been our social media guru here recently.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm just here for...
He's just here.
Other entertainment reasons.
Because I look like an idiot in most of them. So, it's been great. Thank you.
You can find Taylor on Instagram at TaylorCough99. You can find me at Mr. Humbrick. You can find our Facebook page at Off the Books Podcast. There's also the Gmail page for offthebookspodcast at gmail.com. So if you guys have any suggestions or questions or things like that, just let us know. We've got our BS episode coming out next week, so check that out. And that's it. So like I always say, thank you for listening, and good night, good morrow, and good morning to you fine folks. Taylor has to pee.
Yep. Goodbye, guys.